Hello and welcome to That's Just Prime, and today we're going to be taking a look at Transformers, Age of Extinction, Smash and Change, Optimus Prime, and I'm going to do something a little different here. I literally just found this guy in a store just a few hours ago, and when I got to the store, I'm not quite sure what the MSRP on this guy is, and let me tell you why. I found this guy. They had him, and they had the Grimlocks out. And the tag that was directly below these guys read $19.99. And I know what I'm getting into with this guy. This guy is just a one-step brick former. Pretty much, you just stand him up, he transforms, that's it. He's got very little to no articulation. And when I saw the price tag on him, I said, no, I'm going to wait till he gets clearance, or if I find him at Ross or something like that. I was going to pass this guy up. But right as I was about to walk away, I noticed that the space right next to where these guys were sitting, the space on the shelf was empty, and it had a tag that specifically read Transformers Movie 4 12-inch figures, $7.96. So I went ahead and grabbed. I said, well, if that's the price for these guys, maybe they're in the wrong spot. So if that's the correct price, I'll pick it up for that much. So I went and I took the guy and I took him to one of the scanners, and obviously he wasn't scanning because I'm pretty sure these guys are not supposed to be on shelves yet. So it didn't scan. So I went ahead and just I took a picture of the tag, of both tags, and I took them up front. I went to check out, and when I went to check out with him, at the register it scanned for $19.96. When I showed the guy, the cashier, and I showed him the picture of the tags, and the tag for the 1996 didn't read anything about the movie. It just said Transformer Voyager. It didn't say anything about the movie. So when I showed the guy the picture of both tags sitting side by side, the movie 4 for $7.96 and the Voyager for $19.96, he said, no, yep, you're right, and he gave it to me for $7.96. For that price, I was happy to get him. But so I came home and I started doing research on him. And everything that I've been able to find on this guy so far shows that it's actually $19.99 would have been the correct price on this. So I wanted to tell you that story ahead of time. I got him dirt cheap. I wasn't, for the original price of $19.99, I was not going to get this guy. So, but I got him cheap. It was an honest mistake, and I'm not, it wasn't malicious on my part, but I'm also not going to run back to the store and say, hey, here's another 12 bucks. I'm not going to do that. So we've got the figure here, and we're going to go ahead and get it out of the box, and let's get this review. The box real quick. I never show boxes, but here it is real quick. Smash and Change. It's a one-step transformation. This guy doesn't even have instructions inside, and there's just some movie art here on the side. The back has your product shots, robot and vehicle mode, and then the cross-sell with Grimlock, which they also had, but I did not pick up. And not a whole lot going on this side. So, and like I said, you open them up, there's no instructions inside, nothing like that. So, let's go ahead and get this guy out of the box, and let's get on with our regular review. And here is Optimus Prime in his truck mode. Released in 2014, here in truck mode, he's approximately 8.5 inches long and about 3.5 inches tall at the top of the cab here. As you can see, obviously, he's not a terrible representation of what his new vehicle mode is going to be in Age of Extinction. But, of course, keep in mind, of course, that this is aimed at the younger crowd. So, there's a lot of detail missing in this. This is obviously meant for little kids to play with. The arms here are exposed on the side. There's no chrome on the wheels, which has kind of been a thing lately anyway. Here at the top, it looks like what is going to be his shield. It almost kind of looks like a combination of his shield and the sword for the movie, something like that. And it seems like it's been mounted here to the top. And of course that's for, that's to make the handle. This is meant for kids to grab on and play with and, smash them down when they're going to transform him and all that. So, it's not terrible. I'm personally not a fan of having the weapons mounted anywhere that's visible on the vehicle. Obviously, I can see why they did this. But the reason I bring up the point of having weapons mounted on the vehicle, he did come with one accessory, and that's this sword here. And this sword is cool. Look at this. This thing is huge. It's as long as the truck is, and it's super detailed. This thing looks really, really cool. However, you see, it's got the peg mounted on the side there, and you think that's for mounting to the vehicle somewhere. However, you've got the peg on the side of the arm here. That's too big, or I mean the port rather, and that's too big, so that's not going anywhere. You know, that's not going to stay there. That would be where his shield mounts in robot mode if he had a shield, but he doesn't come with one. And then he's got this hole up here where the shield is at, but I mean, the port, but that's also too big, so that sword doesn't stick there. And what I was bringing up is, like I was saying, I'm not a fan of having the weapons mounted on the vehicle mode where they're visible. If you're going to mount this anywhere, you know, put it on the bottom where you can't see it. But there's none of that also, or either. You can't mount this thing anywhere under the vehicle. There's nowhere to mount this thing, is what I'm getting to. So if you were going to go ahead and make it so where it looks like there's weapons mounted to the top of the vehicle anyway, why not put a peg hole there so that you can mount this here like this or like that? I don't know. I don't understand that. As it is, in vehicle mode, there's nowhere to put this. Now, I was looking over on this side, and there's a couple of holes on this side, a couple of ports, and these two are screw holes. There are screws in both of these. This port right here, there's nothing there. This goes in about a ½ an inch and stops. And now all three of these, the sword peg will fit into all three of these. Like that, and then, you know, like I said, those are screw holes. This one is not. So that actually can mount to that side of the truck there, but I don't know why anyone would do that. That just looks, I mean, if already I hate weapons mounted to vehicles, that just looks ridiculous. I don't see why anyone would do that. That doesn't make any sense to me. Flip it over the other way, maybe. I don't know. That just doesn't make any sense to me. Even when you flip it, it looks terrible. I don't know. That's what I'm not a fan. As it is, I'm going to say that there's just no mounting this in vehicle mode. Leave it off to the side. Vehicle mode, I don't hate this, you know. Obviously there's detail missing from it, but this is the little kids version, so you know it's going to be a little more rough and tumble kind of thing to play with. So, you know, I don't hate it. I don't hate it for what it is. I'm going to shift the camera up so we can look at the transformation. Transformation, as you saw in the box, is one step. You just grab it here by the handle and you're going to push down, and when you do that, it's going to unlock. We're going to get an extension here in the shins. The shoulders are going to move out to the sides, and the head's going to pop up. And come on, just like that. There you go. And to transform them back in the truck mode, you push them back down again. It's that simple. There's your robot, and there's your truck mode. That's it. That's real simple, easy, fun to do. Here in truck mode, or rather robot mode, he's approximately 9 inches tall. He's not a terrible looking figure. As far as articulation though goes, this guy is a brick. There's no articulation in the you know, nothing in the feet, nothing in the knees, nothing at the hips, nothing at the waist, the head, nothing at the head, nothing at the shoulder. This guy's a brick. He's got some articulation here on the elbows. The elbows do have a ratchet joint so they can go up, and they also have a rotation. So that's about it. That's all the articulation you're going to get out of this guy. Detail is not terrible. He's a good representation of the robot mode that we're going to get in the new movie. I really like the colors. I like the way the chest looks. Let's see if we can get in close to the head sculpt here. I really like the head sculpt. That is a really, really cool head sculpt. I'm not a fan of the shoulder things just sticking here. I know he's going to have some sort of a shoulder pads in the movie, but I don't think they're going to be anything like this. But, you know, he's not terrible. He can hold his sword. And what's cool here is that the fist is at a bit of an angle, so, you know, he can actually kind of point it forward. If he had a little more articulation at the shoulders, then you could probably get some cool poses out of him. But as it is, he can't. He just can kind of do that. That's it. Honestly, if I were to change something on this, and I would compromise, say, leave the legs alone, you know, leave the legs static, but give him some articulation at the shoulder and at the head. That way you can move his arms around and maybe give him some cool poses with his sword and move his head around. I think that would have actually made for a pretty cool figure. But as it stands, I can kind of see why they didn't, you know, because of the way the shoulders rotate for transformation. If you move them around, little kids are meant to play with this. They may be don't line it up correctly when it's time to transform him back in truck mode, and it won't work. Same thing with the head, so I can kind of see why they did that. It's a bit of a shame, but again, this is meant for the really, really young crowd. But it's not terrible. I like it. It's a new addition for my Prime shelf, and I'm glad to have it. So there he is. There's your Age of Extinction Smash and Change Optimus Prime. Final thoughts on this guy. Honestly, I don't hate it. It's obviously it's not a great figure. This is meant as more of a young child's toy, so it's not the best of the Primes that are out there. But I don't hate it. I like that I got it. I'm glad that I got it. If, like I said, the thing with the price. I told you the story at the beginning of the video. I wasn't exactly sure which tag was meant to be for him. I took pictures of the tags. I took it up front. I let them make the decision, and they were the ones that said, yep, you're right. The one for the movie is labeled $8, so take it for $8. So for $8, I'm glad I got it. But like I said, since I got home, I've been doing research on this guy, and it seems like it's leaning more towards the $20 price change or price point. And for the $20 price point, I don't think I could recommend this guy. If this guy isn't, when he is, I think he's scheduled to come out next month. When he does actually come out, if it's $20, honestly, I would wait for a clearance rack, or I would wait for him to hit Ross or something like that. I can't say that I would. I wasn't going to pay $20 for this guy. I was going to wait on him. If he turns out to be the $8 that I paid for him, then hey, by all means, get him. He's a cool figure for $8, but not for $20. So, and then just to give him a quick roundabout here shot, he does have the entire truck as a backpack. So if you're the kind of collector that hates having an entire vehicle as a backpack, you're not gonna like this. But he's a new Prime. He's a welcome addition to my collection. I enjoy having him. Let's wait and see what the actual retail for this guy is when he actually does come out, and make your decisions then. Like I said, less than $10, get him. If he's less than 10, get him. He's a fun figure to have. He's a good addition. If he's $20, wait it out. So I think I've pretty much rambled enough on that point, and I think that about covers Transformers Age of Extinction Smash and Change Optimus Prime. Please leave me a comment, subscribe, give me some thumbs up, and share with your friends if you like what you see. And I'll talk to you next time on That's Just Prime.